All right, what is up, my peeps? Joshua Smith here with another GSD Mode podcast weekly real estate tip. And today I'm here to break down what to do as a real estate agent when you have a buyer client or a buyer lead that says to you, hey, I'm wanting to wait for prices to come down before I'm going to go out there and buy a home. Or maybe they say to you, I'm wanting to wait until interest rates come down before I go out there and buy a home. So what to do and how to handle these scenarios and these situations, so this way you can continue to grow your overall real estate business. And this is something that comes up daily. What actually inspired me to create this podcast is this is an exact conversation that I just had today with one of my new agents. Every single Tuesday, we do a weekly mastermind and we cover different wins for the week, obstacles that we're currently experiencing that we need to overcome. And this was in our obstacle round. One of my agents, newer agents, had this come up recently, like, what do I do and how do I handle this situation? So today I want to break down my exact advice to them and share that with you, because I know that this is something most of you are experiencing and hearing on, if not daily, definitely a weekly basis. Because look, I get it. I mean, if you look at the unaffordability crisis that we're in, if you look at how high prices have gotten, not just in real estate, but all things in life, you combine that. I know that real estate interest rates aren't historically high, but they're higher than we're been accustomed to the last several years, and I'll just say this, when it comes to interest rates, people don't actually care what the interest rate is. What they're saying is, with the prices today and with where interest rates are at, the payment is just unaffordable. So we got to know what people are actually meaning. And then we got to be able to identify their true root core concerns and then inform and educate and lead that process forward with this. So today I want to do a deep dive into this because I know that this is something that's a challenge for the vast majority of those in our industry right now. Now, real quick, before I jump into this, make sure that you check out gsdmode.com, www.gsdmode.com for additional free resources, additional free training. You can also check out my coaching program on there, which is hands down the most effective and affordable coaching program in the industry. So if you want or need my help to coach you and make sure you get to your real estate goals and make your real estate goals a reality, you can go check out my coaching program. I've got an in-depth video on that. And you can also check out a bunch of testimonials, all of that on there. But on gsdmode.com for those free resources, I highly encourage you to check out my in-depth 3-hour masterclass taking place right now, which is called 6 Steps to 3Xing Your Business or More in the Next 12 Months. There is no reason that any of you shouldn't be crushing it inside your real estate business right now. But you got to make sure you're treating your business as a business. You've got to hone in and dial in these 6 core fundamentals that I'm walking you through. Also at gsdmode.com, if you want to, you can take advantage of booking and scheduling a 60-minute free Zoom strategy blueprint coaching call with me, where we're going to spend 60 minutes together breaking down your business, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals and visions are, what your biggest obstacles are, what you're currently doing. And then I'm going to map out and walk you through what my personal recommended strategy is for you to execute on to get from where you're at to where you want to go in the quickest, most effective, efficient, profitable manner possible. And you have my word, I will not let you leave this free Zoom coaching call without knowing exactly what you must do to get from where you're at to where it is that you want to go. So you can do all that at gsdmode.com. Okay, so again, we're here to talk about when you got buyers, buyer leads, buyer clients. Maybe you got a current client that you've already converted into a client. You've already met with them for a consultation, but they're deciding to hold things off until, prices come down or till interest rates come down. Or, this can even be more common, right, when we're having conversations with leads where it's just, I just want to wait till prices come down. I see the market starting to adjust. I think I'm just going to wait. We don't necessarily need to buy right now. We'd like to, but we don't need to. So we're just going to hold off until, we can get a better deal. Or we're going to hold off until interest rates come down. So what to do and how to handle these scenarios and situations. Now, I want to first lead off with this because I like to be very clear with this. This is how I believe in operating and how hopefully, I believe that you should be operating, and hopefully this is how you want to operate. I do not believe in deceiving or manipulating anybody. I believe as real estate professionals, it is our job to inform and educate, provide the information and the education to our clients and potential clients, so then that they can make their best informed decision on what is best for them and their family. So I am not going to try to get business out of anybody by talking them into doing something that isn't in their best interest or isn't something that they want to do. I don't believe in doing business that way. It's not how I'm going to operate, and I don't recommend that you do. Look, it seems like sometimes the industry can be big, the world can be big, but at the end of the day, man, it's a small industry and it's a small world. And it can take years and years and years to build up a great reputation, but it can be lost instantaneously. You don't want to get that reputation of being that sleazy manipulator that takes advantage of people. It is just not worth it. It's too easy to build your business and create massive success the right way, operating by high ethics and morals inside your business. So when it comes to this, okay, I'm just going to walk you through the conversation I had today with my agent. Now, this is a new agent to the team that has been getting this objection, with their current strategy plan. And they're in my market, right? So now, first thing I want to say is, okay, in my market, we are now in a declining and pretty rapidly declining market. So when you look at this, it's like, okay, whichever markets, and this is just historic trends, whichever markets, boomed the fastest, okay, typically then decline the fastest during a correction. Well, our market here in Phoenix, Arizona was the fastest appreciating market in the country, during that kind of post-COVID, COVID catapult boom, if you will. So 2020, 2021, early 2022. And there's also a direct correlation with the amount of investor purchases in real estate into how quick and severe that correction is. So my market right now is in a pretty rapid, severe decline when it comes to prices. So if I have a buyer that is like, well, we don't need to necessarily buy right now. I mean, we would like to. We would like, an extra bedroom. We'd like to be in a different neighborhood. We would like something different, but we don't necessarily need to buy right now. But if the right deal came across, like we would like to, we would want to, but we're thinking about holding off because if we wait, a year, which we can do, we're confident we can get a better. We think with what we're seeing right now, we can get a better deal. Okay, so everything that I just told you with operating from high ethics and morals and not believing in manipulation and deceit, okay, it would then be against all of those things that I just said of how I operate for me to then, push and talk them into buying now versus waiting a year. Because if we look at everything going on right now, if nothing changes, if everything continues staying status quo, which there's no signs of anything changing and, signs of anything other than the status quo continuing to happen, which means we're stacking listing inventory month over month. It's growing massively month over month. Buyer demand's declining, which means, right, we're going deeper and deeper and deeper into a buyer's market. So then, yeah, if this continues at the trend it's continuing right now, yeah, if they wait a year, they can get a hell of a lot better of a deal. Now I'm not saying interest rates are going to come down in the next 12 months. That's something that we don't know. I believe that the probability is higher that interest rates will be in that 8 to 10% in 2025, throughout this next year versus getting down to that 5 or 6% range. Now, I don't have a crystal ball. I've got recent podcasts that I've released where I've talked about what's going on with interest rates that you can check out with that. So, but let's just say interest rates stay around the same. Maybe they get a little bit higher, but they stay the same, but if prices come down, like they're looking for something right now, that at peak of the market was, let's just say 800. Maybe now today they can get that for 650 in my market because that's not uncommon to do. Well, if they wait another year, okay, they might be able to get that same, deal that they're able to get at, 650 right now for 550, right? So yeah, they would be able to get a better deal. So then from there, I'm just going to unpack that with them. Right. And I've just found when you are dealing with leads or clients, the quickest way to piss them off is to be against them, to tell them that they're wrong and be against them. You always want to be with, never against. So I'm going to unpack that. Hey, I totally get that. I totally understand that. And just so you know, with everything going on with the market right now, the market is changing. It is declining. Prices, values are dropping. So if everything continues on the path that we're on right now, you are correct. If you were to wait a year, unless something changes, and if it does, I'll let you know immediately. But if the market continues doing what it's doing right now, which again, there's no signs showing that it's not going to, then yeah, 12 months from now, you will be able to get a much better deal. So with that being said, why don't you walk me through what the ideal deal, like what the ideal goal that you have with your next home would be? Area, location, what price would make it where you would then, it would entice you where you'd want to move forward with this. Like walk me through what that looks like. So then when I believe that the market is hit to that point where we can accomplish what your real estate goals are, I'll be able to reach out to you immediately and know that we've hit that point in the marketplace. So it's like, okay, every like objective when it comes to that initial conversation with any lead or any prospect is to identify their goal, identify their timeline, set the appointment if able or appropriate, if unable or appropriate, because I know their goal and timeline. Now I know how to follow up appropriately. So then I can maximize conversions for if and when they are ready to move. So I need to go out there and unpack that. So if a buyer comes to me right now and says, well, we would like to buy, we don't necessarily need to buy right now, but we would like to, but we're going to wait for interest rates to come down. Again, I understand and know, I can't remember if I said this earlier in the podcast, so I'll repeat it. Apologize if I'm repeating it, but I can't remember if I said it already or not, but I know that nobody gives two shits about interest rates. Like meaning that, okay, this home that's 800 grand today or 700 grand today, let's just say 700 grand. Well, shit, maybe 6 years ago, that home in my market was 350, 400 grand. If that same home, that 700 grand was 350, you think they would care about if interest rates are, 7 or 8% like they are today? No, right? What they're saying, what they're articulating, when you have a buyer client that's saying that, oh, I need to wait for interest rates to come down. What they are saying, what they mean by that is, look, what today's prices and where interest rates are right now, the mortgage payment is either unaffordable or out of my comfort zone, right? That is what they're saying. People like nobody goes on to, unless, maybe certain investors do, but the general population, the general public does not go to, Mortgage News Daily, track the interest rate daily and be like, oh, interest rates are here, I'm going to go for it. What they are looking for is, okay, can we afford this property or not? Right? Like, is this in our comfort zone? Can we afford this? Is this worth it? Right? Is this something that is doable or not? That's what they're looking at. So then from there, if somebody's like, hey, we want to buy, but man, we're going to wait because interest rates being, at the high, or, where they're at, we're just going to wait till they come down. So how do I respond to that? Hey, totally get that. Totally understand that. And just between you and I, I've been selling real estate out here, in the Phoenix metropolitan area for over, for 20 years now. And I never thought I'd see a point in time where prices would be this high. And then on top of that, with interest rates being where they're at, with payments just being so insanely unaffordable. And it's, creating a very tough situation for a lot of home buyers out there. So I totally get and understand wanting to hold off, until things become more affordable. So I totally get that, totally understand that. Now, let me ask you this, and I'm not going to promise that this is something that can take place and happen. This could be a shot in the dark, but I'm never one to give up on a client. So if it was possible that I was able to find you exactly what you were looking for, the price point that you're needing, that has all the features in the area, in the location. If I was able to find you exactly what you were looking for, and there was a way where we could then get your monthly payments into that range where you need them to be, if that was a possibility, then would you have, then would you have some interest in possibly moving forward with purchasing a home right now in this market? Right. So I'm going to unpack with what that current situation is. Because here's the thing. If they say no to that, well, then I know it's something deeper than just interest rates. Now, if it is just interest rates, if they're like, well, yeah, hell yeah, I would do that. How would you do that? Okay, a lot of people don't understand. Let's just say if they're doing a conventional loan, okay, well, I can get, up to a 9% seller concession and use that for a rate buy down. A lot of people don't know that. Okay, with some of these new build options out there, they're off, they're doing mortgage kind of block, they're buying money, right? They're buying paper, they're buying loans in blocks, and they have some very affordable rates there. So there might be options where I can help them right now be in their affordability range that works for them. But if not, I want to identify what winning looks like for them, at what point they wouldn't want to move forward with buying their next home. So then that way I can stay in touch and follow up appropriately with them. Look, too many people in our industry are just focusing on the now, focusing on the immediate. And I get it. I want business now. We all want business now. And we all probably, and some people need business now, right? But you got to learn to play the overall, it's like we got the immediate game, then we got the middle game, then we got that long game. And if you plan on, which hopefully all of you do, being in this industry for the long run, look, yeah, you're going to need clients today. You're going to need clients tomorrow. You're going to need clients in 3 months. You're going to need clients in 6 months. You're going to need clients in 12 months. You're going to need clients in 2 years. You're going to need clients in 5 years. So I don't really care if they buy today or if they buy 5 years from now. I just want to do everything I can to build that rapport, build that relationship, build that trust. Stay in touch with them. Like, what's the overall real estate game? Get people to know you, like you, trust you, be aware of what you do for a living, stay in touch frequently, and or keep your message firm frequently. Your business continues to grow. So I want to be able to maximize the probability of me helping them with their real estate needs for if and when they're ready. But I've got to get to identifying and have them unpack what winning looks like At what point in stage would they want to move forward with a piece of real estate? So let's just say if they go, well, if I was like, okay, well, hey, if it was a possibility, just went through that script I went through, if it was a possibility where I could find exactly what you're looking for, in the area that you're looking for with all the home features that you want and need, at the price that you're looking for. And if there was a way, well, we could also make sure that your payments are in that range that is affordable, for you. If that was a possibility, then would you, have some possible interest in wanting to move forward and buy a home today, or buy a home in the near future? If they say, nah, I don't know, I don't think so. Okay, so it sounds like maybe in addition to the high interest rates, there's maybe something else in addition to that that's caused you want to, possibly hold off. What else might that be? So I'm going to do it in a soft tone, right? I'm using de-anchoring words like possibly. You don't, like back in the old school sales tactics is like, okay, anchor the sale, get them to say yes as many times to get you, like all that bullshit old school sales tactics that maybe was effective back in the day, but I know sure as shit it's not effective now. People are too intelligent and smart for that. The average person is sold commercially 5,000 times on a daily basis. Like they know all the tricks, right? Like you want to have a conversation with them like you would with, I don't know, like if maybe you got kids, right? So, something I'm always telling my agents. So, okay, let's just pretend your son or daughter, gets to that age where they're getting ready to buy their first home. Or maybe if you don't have kids, just think of, the person that you care most about in this life. And let's just say they're in a different state than you're in, so you can't help them. And maybe you don't know any realtors there that you could refer them to. So now they become some random lead. The person that matters most to you in this world becomes some random lead in some random realtor's database. How do you want that person, that realtor, to speak to them, to treat them, to guide them through this process? Like what would make it to where, okay, your person that matters most to you in this world, they close on this home, you fly out to go, celebrate the close with them and, check out their new place. But you're in town. While you're in town, you're like, dude, I got to go meet your realtor, shake their hand and thank them for taking such amazing care of the most important person to be in my life because they did such an outstanding job. Like what must take place, how much they treat this person for you to go out there and do that. Then think of the opposite. Like what would make you want to wring their freaking neck? Okay, if I had a realtor that talked one of my kids into it, if they were in that situation, into getting into a bad situation, yeah, I'd want to go wring their damn neck. Yeah, right. Like, okay, just think, now just understand that these aren't leads. They're not numbers. These are human beings. This is somebody's daughter, somebody's son, somebody's mother, somebody's father, somebody's grandparents, right? So, show people that you give a shit, show people that you care about them, when it comes to that. So thinking about that with your tonality, with your conversation, with how you're asking them questions, don't come from a place of combating them. It's like seek to understand, so that's how I'm unpacking that right now. Then from there, now that might not solve your situation in the immediate. Maybe you're like, well, shit, dude, I need business right now. I get maybe it's not in their best interest to go out there and buy right now. Cause look, again, interest rates probably aren't coming down. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, but unless the Federal Reserve starts their quantitative easing process and buying insane amounts of mortgage-backed securities again, look, interest rates are not going to come down anytime and maybe again in our lifetime. Like this might be the cheapest that we ever see them. That's a variable that's out of our control. But I do know that, okay, at least in my market right now, if a buyer waits 12 months, okay, they're going to get a better deal than they are getting right now, unless something changes. But this is where I keep it on the market, right? So if something changes and that scenario and situation changes, I'm going to call them right away and be like, dude, if you want to buy and be able to get a deal, like now is the time to go. Because the changes that we're seeing, if you wait now, wait another 6 months, you're not going to get the deal you're going to get today, right? This is the fortune of fault. This is why we have CRMs. This is why we do that. Now, then from there, the next piece of advice that I gave my agent was, okay, then we got two options. Okay, option number one is to adjust and pivot your client acquisition strategies to identifying people that need to buy or sell. Right now is a market. Like if you are reaching out to, you're having a lot of conversations with leads, you're doing all your lead gen, lead follow-up, prospects, whatever, and you're getting a lot of people that want to buy or sell, but they just, they don't need to buy or sell, so they don't have a lot of interest. There's no motivation. Okay, you're targeting the wrong people. You're targeting people that want versus need. Got to target people that need to sell. So when we look at, okay, why do people buy and sell real estate overall? We're talking about just general public, average people out there. Like, why do they buy and sell real estate? It is life circumstance changes, right? So, okay, they get married, go out there and buy their first house. And of course, this is an exact path everybody takes. But on average, right? So they get married, they go out there and buy their first place. Then they have a couple kids, they outgrow that place, they need a bigger place. Then from there, maybe they have another kid or two, maybe so, maybe not, but then they're more established in their career, so then boom, they buy kind of that last move up buy of their lifetime. They raise their kids then move out, go to college, start their careers. Now they're empty nesters, house is too big. They downsize that property, sell that, go buy another property. And then they're in that property until they get to a point where they can no longer take care of the house, take care of themselves. They sell that, they go into assisted living or move in with family, it's life situation changes. Then we got detours. You got relocations. You got foreclosures, right? You got foreclosures, you got bankruptcies, you got divorce, you got relocation, so then you got death, right? So then, okay, what are those detours? Those are life situation changes where then, okay, people then need to sell. So if we can niche down and hone in at, okay, who are the people that need to sell? So if I'm going after listings right now, okay, I'm targeting expireds, FSBOs, those have always been great. We don't necessarily know their need to go out there and sell. We just know that they've raised their hand that there's a need, right? But then from there, okay, absentee owners, people going through a divorce, pre-foreclosures, at least in my experience right now in the market that we're in 2024, those are the 5 best niches where there's urgency for people needing to go out there and sell. Okay, on the buy side, who am I targeting right now? I'm targeting, like primarily relocations. So the second time move up buyers that have outgrown that property. So I'm looking at what's that demographic, what's that age group? Okay, 40 to 55-year-old married couples, they're in peak income earning years, so they can afford to partake in the housing market in this climate. But they're buying that kind of last move up buy of their lifetime. So that's a buyer niche I'm going after and targeting right now. Then from there, reloads. So I know the top 10 states, the metros within those states that people are reloading to my market. So I'm running strategic ads to those markets of people that have the highest probability of relocating to my market. So these are people, getting a job for whatever reason, they're reloading to my market and they need a place to go, right? Need a place to go out there and stay, so we can, number one, we can adjust strategy on, okay, people that have a higher probability of needing your services in this market. So then that way you get people that need your services that have that urgency. So that's path number one. Now, path number two, let's just say you don't want to niche down in that manner and you just want to continue doing the same thing in the way that you're doing it, which I'm not saying like both of these paths can get you there. So I'm not, talking about path number two is like to make fun of anybody with this. Like this is a viable path. Both of them can get you to the result that you want. But path number two is, okay, same strategies, right? Where you're going to get a lot of people that want to buy and sell, but don't need to buy and sell. So same strategies you're doing right now. But then you just got to understand what you got to hedge against and adjust your business plan for is, okay, go look from, 2010, let's call it 2012 through 2022. Average out during that decade period of time of what the average annual transaction volume on residential real estate was for your market. So you can sit there and see, okay, over the last decade, what was the average transaction volume, taking place, year over year in your market. And then check out, okay, the last 12 months. And then do that math, do that calculation and see how far down your transaction volume is versus, right now versus the, that previous decade when we were, in more of a, I don't want to say a normal market because that was the longest bull market recorded history, but, versus the previous decade. Then from there, so like, okay, in my market, it's down about 42%. So we got about 42% less transactions that we're seeing right now versus that previous decade. So then if I'm doing the same strategies that I've been doing, okay, then I know that I need to generate 42% more leads. Then I got to do 42% more follow-ups, so meaning 42% more conversations for the same result. So if I need my business to grow 20% year over year, yeah, right. Well, then I got to hedge for that because I got to do 42% more for the same result. Then if I want my business to this is what we just got to adjust our business plans and just dealing in realities with that. And that strategy is okay too. Cause look, you can just make sure that you got your systems dialed in, your processes dialed in, making sure that you're optimizing your effectiveness and efficiency, with those things. And then look, there's probably room to get your skill set up to convert higher. So then maybe you don't need to necessarily generate 42% more leads and have 42% more follow-up, 42% more conversations for the same result. There's some things that we can do to hone that in, but those are really the two paths. Right. So we got to either really niche down to people that need to buy and sell so they have that urgency and really focusing on those situation changes, or we can continue doing the same strategies that we've been doing or doing right now, where we don't have clients that have that same urgency, and just understand that we got to do more of it. Those are really the two ways to go out there and hedge our overall business, with this. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful. This is how we are handling I want to wait for a year, or I want to wait for interest rates to come down. For me personally, I'm going to go out there and niche down where I have people that need to buy and sell, where then it's just really, it's not then really an issue, right? These are people that already know they want to buy and sell. They need to buy and sell. Their situation deems them, where it's necessary to buy and sell. So there's that element of urgency with that. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, make sure to check out gsdmode.com. Highly encourage you to jump on my 6 steps to 3xing your real estate business or more in the next 12 months. Free 3-hour in-depth webinar. And also, again, if you'd like to jump on a 60-minute Zoom coaching call with me, where I can break down what you're doing, what your 12-month goals are, what your long-term goals are, what your biggest obstacles are, and make sure that you have the best strategy and or strategies in place, so you'll know exactly what you must do every day, every week, every month to make sure that your goals are a reality. That's something you want to take advantage of. You go to gsdmode.com. You'll see a top banner there on the homepage where you can schedule a free Zoom coaching call with me, 100% free, no strings attached. I promise you, I will not let you down. I will make sure that this is one of the, if not the best 60 minutes you've ever invested in your real estate career. The only thing I can't do for you, I can make sure that you know exactly what to do. I just cannot execute for you. Like, you still got to show up. You got to do the work. Like, I can make sure you got the right blueprint, but you got to show up and do the work. So as long as you're willing to go out there and execute and do the work, I'll make sure that you got that right blueprint. So if you need help, if you're not where you want to be, I highly encourage you to schedule that ASAP while they still exist. So again, hope you found this helpful. Make sure to check out gsdmode.com. Keep crushing it. Keep kicking ass. I'll see you next time. Peace.